everyone. We are talking about climate change as a driver of food insecurity in Haiti. To start with the background and problem formulation, food insecurity occurs when an individual lacks reliable access to nutrient-dense food and safe drinking water, which can result in negative health outcomes. Climate change has been shown to increase the quantity, duration, and severity of extreme natural weather events, such as hurricanes and droughts, which worsen food insecurity. The prevalence of natural disasters in Haiti makes the country particularly vulnerable to food insecurity compared to the other small island developing countries in the Western Hemisphere.
As the climate changes, the most vulnerable groups will be impacted the most on a global scale and within Haiti. Specifically, low income women, children, and elderly people are documented to be the most vulnerable subgroups of Haiti's populations. Since the basic human right to food for Haiti's most vulnerable populations is at risk, climate change induced food insecurity within this country is an environmental injustice.
Around 58.7% of Haitians live in poverty, which only serves to worsen the constraints these individuals face when attempting to access food and clean water. Of children under 5 in Haiti, 21.9% are stunted, 5.1% are wasted, and 11.4% are underweight. These nutrition levels are only worsened by low domestic agricultural productivity and high importation of food, meaning that Haiti's food supply is highly vulnerable to shocks resulting from natural disasters and market shocks, such as sudden price changes.
Expanding on related health outcomes, more than 50% of the population in Haiti is undernourished, and 24% of children are chronically malnourished. And although socioeconomic factors contribute to malnutrition and food insecurity, climate change is becoming an increasingly important driving force of this.
Some possible solutions include GIS. In Grenada, people have been using GIS as a water management strategy, and it has led to faster and more effective responses to leaks and reduced maintenance costs. Similarly, in Malawi, early warning systems and climate projections have been useful for protecting the public health as they can aid to reduce the number of weather-related deaths and improve food security. In Mali, the Global Environment Facility has been focused on training women in sustainable agriculture and land management. In recent years, Ghana has been practicing regenerative agriculture techniques such as crop diversification, low tilling, and crop rotation. These have helped to reduce the country's agricultural vulnerability to climate change. Reforestation is another possible solution in Haiti, especially in the highland areas. This will help to restore soil integrity, lower vulnerability to floods, and reduce the subsequent loss of topsoil. Especially if Haiti plants trees that also have additional utility, such as citrus or olive trees. This will not only provide additional food, but will also be an extra source of income for the country. There are several reforestation practices already in place in Haiti, most notably, however, the Haiti Tree Project, which aims to employ women to plant trees who have trouble finding work elsewhere. This also promotes developmental progress in the country.
We are proposing the introduction of community-centered sustainable agricultural education programs for Haitian women across Haiti's 10 administrative departments. We also propose addressing Haiti's lack of reliable water resources by using GIS for water resource management. The involved stakeholders for these proposed solutions are the rural communities participating in HWSA programs, HWSA program developers, community leaders, and investors, and finally, Haiti's national and local administrative governments.
While women in Haiti provide a lot of the agricultural labor, they often lack the same legal right to property as men, and more than one half of women in Haiti are illiterate. So for our proposed solutions to work, women in Haiti must be empowered to take over land management and must increase financial literacy. Furthermore, we must secure startup costs and long-term investment for both proposed interventions, particularly for GIS, which requires extremely high costs when collecting data and storing data at such high levels. To measure the effectiveness of our proposed solutions, we propose collecting multiple metrics, including crop yields, child undernutrition levels, and nutritional value of food consumed in the areas where the program is implemented. We propose collecting these initially and then measuring these annually. Furthermore, we want to measure annual retainment levels in our Women for Sustainable Agricultural program and assess community input. To monitor the GIS system, we propose collecting data associated with water leaks and water accumulation to assess water resource management.
In conclusion, low-income women, children, and elderly people are particularly vulnerable to food insecurity. And although socioeconomic factors contribute to malnutrition, climate change is becoming an increasingly important driving force of this. And strategies such as agricultural education, food planning, and GIS can serve as effective strategies to reduce food insecurity in Haiti. Thank you.